Let's start then. Thanks everybody for showing up. Appreciate it.
Hey, Mike, I like that picture of you. It's very definitely you.
It's a picture of George Zell.
It's me playing clarinet.
So I guess as we've been discussing in the banter here, where this is going to be a way of doing things for a while with a little bit of small group gatherings and that sort of thing. So I want to, been kind of trying to wait and see what's going on. So I guess this is the way we're going to have to do it. So we'll make the best of it. So keep it all going. The audio biz, despite all this happening, I talked to a number of manufacturers I work with for reviews and stuff like that. Biz is pretty good. I know, Russ, you told me you've been busy.
It is, yeah.
And guys like Leesburg tell me he's been really, really busy as well, and manufacturers and stuff. The guys over at Benchmark told me they're almost in perpetual back order on a couple of their products or whatever, and because they sell direct and that's where so that's good for the business. We just can't have any conventions and shows and that kind of thing. So we'll just have to try to make the best of it and go with video and that sort of thing. So I wanted to get started with just to talk a little bit about things I put in the email. Some of the things we've been talking about doing. As you know now, probably most of you know, we have a YouTube channel, and we're going to start taking advantage of that for profiling member systems and also our dealer members, manufacturer service provider members. And with the help of Paul and Chris, we're going to be able to, I think, pull that off pretty well. And I wanted to chat a little bit about what we have planned. We're going to do a dealer profile with Russ here in the next week or so and get that posted. Paul and I are going to go up there and shoot that video. Is that still okay for you, right, Russ?
Yeah. We just have to pick a day. I have to say, I know I emailed you yesterday, but I actually only got one email on this event. Had you sent out previous emails about?
Yeah, I sent two.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't send the other one until the first one was Wednesday. Maybe it was in the spam or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad I caught it because I wouldn't want to miss it.
All right, I'll make sure that I do it at least twice. So that is what we did anyway. So all right, so it's good for you. We want to start out with you on the YouTube for the dealer member profile. So like I said, we'll just pick a day, you, me, and Paul.
Okay.
And then also we're talking about doing member profiles, and Chris has an idea for people who may be a little nervous about people coming over, just because of the COVID thing and everything. Chris has come up with a way. He's got some guidelines for if you don't want us to come over and and shoot the video and whatever, is that you can do it yourself with the phone, right? Chris, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we were talking the other day. Obviously, I've been kind of on a roll lately, creating some videos, and feel free to give me feedback on what I've been producing, whether it's interesting or not. Because I just wanted to get the things done, I just used my cell phone. These cell phones have gotten so good now, it's quite amazing. I have a lot of other camera equipment I'll probably use if I continue to make more produced videos. But my idea is just get it done, and if you can just do kind of a selfie with your audio system on your camera like I was doing. And if you do that and then upload it to like a Dropbox or Google Drive or something and send me the link, I'll happily edit it for you and produce it into something like you see what I'm doing with little titles and other kinds of things, and post it up to our YouTube site. So and I welcome anybody's input on that. So if you got any topic on HiFi you want to talk about, it doesn't have to be on your system per se, but if you just got something that's bugging you, or you'd like to talk about something unique you've discovered, let us know. And as I said, I'll do the editing free of charge and post it up to YouTube and see how everybody reacts. I think it would be kind of fun, don't you think, John?
Yeah, no, I think it's funny that, and it kind of works for this situation where, maybe if we don't scheduling and that sort of thing, because we still have a lot of members, and this way it allows you to do something that's very simple. I mean, and Chris will come up with sort of like a suggested template, like you said, the selfie kind of thing, with maybe a little bit of, voiceover in the beginning, or, talking about your system and that sort of thing. And, there's things you can do with your phone too, with those, kind of, the little sticks or whatever,
I
where
just
you
bought
hold
one.
it and that sort of thing.
Yeah, on Prime Day, actually, I think it's DJI had a pretty terrific sale. I actually bought a drone. I don't think we need to do any drone shots yet, but I'm ready when the HiFi drones need to be done. But but I did buy a little handhold gimbal kind of attachment for a phone. So if they're like $100. So if you really want to get into it, that's another way to do it. But really, my idea is just don't get too hung up on the production values right now. As I said, the phones are so good now, quality-wise. Just do sit again. Look at my some of my videos, and I'm just holding up my camera, doing a selfie. Just position it so you can kind of see the HiFi in the background, and just talk to the camera and just do it. And,
Chris was over the house the other day, and we watched. I think we watched all of them, Chris.
Pretty much we sampled all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, Chris does time lapse photography. I mean, it's pretty well done for just using a camera. And I had Chris edit. I did a interview with this rock star, and she was down in Georgia, and I basically just selfied myself reading the questions, and Chris went back in and edited so that it looked like I was actually speaking to her directly, and it came out, good. So I think it's a really great way of doing it if you don't feel comfortable having anybody over the house.
Yeah, I would say anyone can be a YouTube star if they want.
Yeah.
I saw that that just reminds me. I saw that video you did, Chris, of you sort of on speed assembling that speaker cabinet. And
yes.
Right.
Right. Well, the reason I did the time lapse, because otherwise these things would be like 2-hour long epics, and I figured that would be pushing the envelope. Of people hanging in there. So I thought, that was the appropriate thing. But I appreciate you watching and all that. It's had good reviews. I think the most recent one I did, which was about the VTV amplifier, is now had about 142 views as of this morning. So people are taking a look.
Great.
Yeah, thanks. All right, cool. So so we'll work on that, and let's see, where's my master list here. The other thing that with it video wise, we're in the process now. Chris and I are talking about doing this virtual DAC roundup. Chris, maybe from your place or from my place, however you want to do it. We have a number of DACs. We talked about the topping, the new topping that you have, and we're going to get a few of the other ones. I'm trying to get that new high-end MyTech DAC that's like 20 grand.
I have a new DAC, another DAC.
What is that?
I'll talk about it when I do my presentation.
Okay. All right. So we're planning on scheduling that so we can shoot a YouTube video for that or I don't know, should we do it, Chris? What do you think? Video, or should we do it live and stream it to video, or is it safer to?
Well, contrary to popular opinion, I think we could still do a YouTube live video. I know what I did wrong. I screwed up the last time, so I take responsibility for that. But we could still do a YouTube live thing if you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. The other thing that I talked with Dave Rayton about this, and what gave me the idea is, the listening the mass group listening sessions, I think are, probably difficult to do. But I was talking to Dave about it, and he was saying that maybe for his place, if we wanted to do a limited kind of listening session with Dave, you remember we talked about this last week or whatever, with, I don't know, half a dozen people or something like that, depending where the COVID is and that sort of thing. I think it would be nice, to at least do a small group presentation if there would be some participants. So you guys have any thoughts on that, or?
Yeah, hey, John, I actually had talked about, I have both the KEF LS50 Metas and the KEF Wireless 2s both on display now, and I thought maybe we could even do it where we could have like half-hour listening sessions and make it more where people make an appointment and basically listen for a half hour and then leave, and then 15 minutes later the next person would show up, and just keep it safe, have it one-on-one, and let people, get a chance to actually audition something that's pretty exciting in the industry. So I'd be totally up with doing that if people wanted to do that.
To do something for what yeah, and I know we had discussed that before, but I was talking about something maybe like a theme, like we did the the 1812 and we did the jazz guitar kind of thing, because what got me thinking about this is Mike Rosansky and I had gotten together to listen to these rare Vladimir Horowitz recordings. I thought it would be a good idea. He actually, in the 1945 to 1950, he paid out of his own pocket to have his Carnegie Hall performances recorded, of course, on the 78s, and it's amazing how good they are. And I thought that would be, for the classical music buffs, it would be a great way to get into some really older recordings that have been restored and remastered, and and also listen to an era where artistically he was just amazing and that sort of thing. So obviously we can't do it in the large numbers that we had done prior to this pandemic, but we're still trying to get a feel from the folks here whether they would feel safe and that sort of thing. Would they be interested in attending a small numbers listening sessions where people are healthy and that sort of thing. So just wanted to throw that out there. Dave, you and I had talked briefly about that. You talked about maybe a half a dozen, 4 or 5 of that sort of thing. Are you still okay with that, or does it just depend on what's happening?
It depends on a lot of things. I wonder if a safer way to do it would be pick out the material, distribute it, and then do something like this where somebody can introduce something or talk about something, and then we listen to the music on our own system and then get back together. And
yeah, well, I was thinking about that too as a different thing, whereas you're right, we distribute it and then play it on your own system, because the quality of something like this to listen is just it's not good enough I don't think, where you could be that focused in on it. But yeah, that was the other thing that I was thinking about too, is we do it kind of a virtual, and then we have a listening session wrap up or something like that, and chat about it just to get together. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a safer way of doing it. I don't know, having 6 people in one location. I mean, maybe it would work at Dave's place, but I think it would be tough to keep distance in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that would be a good way to do it. And also, the last time we did one of those at Dave's place, where we had the theme was jazz guitars, a lot of stuff, members suggested all kinds of material that they wanted to offer up, and we only had a chance to listen to about maybe half of it or something like that. But somebody, I think it was David, put out a list of all their suggestions. And so later I went and just pulled them, found them, most of it was available streaming. And so I was able to listen to it on my own system, and that was very useful. I got a lot of good ideas I found out about the performers I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So that was
all right.
Wow.
Can I make a suggestion for the current call? If you're not talking, mute, because background noise comes in as digital noise. It's just kind of annoying. So if you're not talking, it's easy that down the bottom there's a mic symbol. Just click it, and you're not contributing to the background noise.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
All right. Let's see. On the, I just wanted to note on the DAC roundup, if there's any suggestions you guys have for a new or even an established DAC that you want us to talk about or to get to get.
I mean, I can let you borrow. You know, I have my my Mytek Manhattan 2, and
yeah.
I've got the Bryston. I've got a few good high-end DACs I could let you
Yeah,
guys.
but the Bryston would be good. I have a Manhattan too, but I'm trying to get the new the 20 grand one just to throw it in there. The new one.
Yeah, when did they say that'll be available? Because I haven't heard.
Well, they kind of are, but they're you know how Mytek is.
Yeah,
It's taken a while to roll it into the market. But yeah, the Bryston would be good. So yeah, so if you guys have other suggestions, what we can do, we'll see if we can get the DACs.
I have a suggestion for if you're asking about the DACs, right? How about one of the well-regarded, like RDR type, the non-oversampling ones?
Yes.
I don't have a particular one that it has to be, but like to have one of those in the mix too might be good.
No, that's the plan. And there's several out there. So
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not using my spring, so if you wanted to use that, you could. I wouldn't mind.
That sounds good.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Let's see. The other thing to chat about now that we've been talking about the rise in COVID, I do have an October 26th happy hour scheduled for anybody who wants to venture out to Quincy South. I have had several people ask me who had attended the last one, if we were going to do another one. So yeah, we're going to do it. Whoever shows up. I've been there. And Chris has been there, and Gary was there last time. Jose was there last time. And we were able to spread out really good. We were able to be outside. Of course, the weather's getting colder and that sort of thing. But anyway, it's kind of just, it's not a real big official kind of thing. But anybody that wants to come, I'll shoot out the address and everything. It's just there in North Bethesda. So however you feel about it, and you want to venture out, just to get together with a couple of people, or whatever, feel free to come over. All right. Any other topics you guys want to discuss from my perspective or whatever? I am starting to gear up for membership renewals. I know we're not doing the things that we were doing or whatever, but we still have associated costs and things like that. I'm hoping that we can be able to get back into doing this when this thing fades down and get back to our meetings and everything. So anyway, I'll be working on that. And any other suggestions or things that you guys want to talk about before we turn it over to Chris and Paul?
I don't have anything to say.
So how did we leave the idea of having a listening event of some sort?
Yeah, I think it's good. I would like to try that with the we try to do that with the Vladimir Horowitz. We can distribute the material to everybody. I'll put it up on a link so you can download it, listen to it, get your opinion on it, and also you can do some of your own research on how it was recorded and where Horowitz was back in the day, at his state of mind, and that sort of thing. And then we'll pick it up and schedule a time where we can actually have like a listening session discussion to see how it all works. So, and then everybody can listen to it on their own system. And it's amazing, the volume 1 of Horowitz, how good those 78 transcriptions are. Yeah, there's surface noise and that sort of thing, but it's amazing how much of the dimension of the piano you actually pick up in mono at that fidelity. It's pretty incredible. Right, Mike? I think Mike is just commenting. I don't think he's talking. Are you there, Mike?
Yes, it's incredible. Just like you said.
Yeah. All right. There he was. There was Mike.
If it'll help with distribution, I can put up an FTP site where people can upload and download at will. I would.
Yeah. Yeah. I have that. I have one now too. I have Transfer and Dropbox and all those. So yeah, it should work pretty good. In fact, I use the WeTransfer for the audio prizes that we're giving away. All right, anything else?
Nope.
I wanted to ask anybody here just before we move off to another thing, before Chris does his thing. Anybody in the last few months got a nice, interesting piece of audio gear that you care to talk about?
Oh, wow.
Well, I got a complete loom of Cardus Clear and a Bricasti M3 with a network card. So I've dumped all USB cables, Ethernet only, and the system is clean and clear.
All right.
So this Bricasti is a network streamer, you're saying?
It's a DAC that you can add a network port to, and Brian
directly.
included that.
Say, John, people might be interested. I got a shit audio no gain preamp. I don't know if anybody here has ever listened to one of those. I wouldn't say it's top of the line in any way. It cost me about $60, but that's something Paul McGowan has kind of promoted on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So it's straight through. There's no audio stage. It doesn't.
So it's a passive preamp. It's an attenuator.
A passive preamp. Yeah, it's essentially just an attenuator, a volume control knob.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me quite the volume I want on phono, so I still usually run records through the quad preamp that I bought at the last rummage sale we had. That's an interesting concept. I don't quite understand why he says you need to have a buffer stage to make it work right. But for $60, that was an interesting little experiment. And there's better stuff you can get. Some of PS Audio's old stuff that's probably pretty top of the line.
Yeah, I've got a couple of passive preamps. They work pretty well. I mean, as long as you have enough gain out of the device.
Well, the other reason you want a buffer is for low impedance output, so you're less influenced by the line.
It really is a gain issue, and it depends on the gain stage in your amplifier. I have a Channel Islands passive preamp that's I've had for years. Actually, you mentioned PS Audio. One of their very first products was something called the Source, which was actually a kit which I built. No surprise, but years ago. I still have it, and it actually was cool because it had both a buffer and a passive, so you could pull some linkage, and you could run it pure passive if you wanted, or you could put it in preamp mode. So you could have the best of both worlds. You can borrow it if you want. I'm not using it.
I've got a passive preamp that's I think it's made in Europe, Poland or Russia or somewhere like that. It's really, really good. It's a couple of grand, and it's just one set of inputs, one set of outputs. But I've used it with the Oppo 205, and it sounds really good. It's just limited. As long as you have one device that matches up well with it, it's very clean and very transparent.
Passive preamp is really going to show you the difference in cables.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, better if you can go. There's another company called Tortuga Audio I've been looking at recently. They're doing stuff in that area as well.
Yeah, my monitor manager that I use for my studio, which is kind of right there, that's a passive volume, but it does a little bit more than just volume. Two sources, two speaker outputs.
Is it a Mackie big knob?
Yes, it is.
There you go. Got it in one.
There's a couple other really nicer ones out there, but I've been tempted to get one of the shits.
Yeah.
Just because a little bit better volume. Because you turn it down below half, it starts to get stereo.
Yeah.
Center starts to fall out.
Right.
I use an older McCormick passive pre, and it's very good. And they come around used quite frequently, and McCormick still does repairs and upgrades. But generally, with a passive, maybe never was going to need a repair on it.
Yeah. No, it can be a good way to go. So,
I'm a big believer in the KISS principle. Keep it simple. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
so the more you can remove from your signal path. I mean, I go through this periodically where I just purge as much as I can and get it down to as simple a path as possible. The least components are better.
I generally agree, but having a buffer can solve an awful lot of problems.
You are right. I don't disagree.
And as far as turning the volume down and you lose your center fill, a lot of that is just there's every volume control, which has two potentiometers gang together, they have different specs for matching and tracking. I learned that back in the days of mirror imaging.
Yeah.
Some of the new alts are really, really good tracking. Like I have a 4-gang one that I've been using in the preamp I built, and everything tracks beautifully, but you can get them that they don't. And as you turn the volume up and down, your image kind of shifts around and bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's a new angle.
I've got one other thing I wanted to put out there. I got this outboard phono preamp. I'd never heard of it before. It's kind of like, you know, DIYAudio, the site. I found some stuff on that online. It's based on a circuit that's been put out on DIY boards for a while. It's called the Le Pacific circuit. It's basically a board. It's a pretty small board, but it has left and right channels sort of duplicated on it. It's a very simple design. It's got paper and oil capacitors that appear to be, I think they're Russian manufactured, and the sound is really great. And this, whoever put this one together used a very small Channel Islands 24-volt power supply with it, so it's extremely quiet. It's MM type only, but it has controls on it so you can increase the gain, and it ranges between about the high 30 decibels to all the way up to about 70 decibels. So it can be used with a lot of different cartridges, including high output moving coils that are relatively low, which is interesting because it can be hard to find a device that can do that sometimes.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
And the sound is quite good for the price. I got to say, the sound is quite good for the price. I ended up paying about $250 for it, and I'm sure just the that little power supply, the 24-volt, DC power supply from Channel Islands, must be a couple of $100 by itself. I mean, this was a one-off that somebody had built, DIY type device, but it's pretty good. I'm really pretty happy with it.
Yeah, sounds pretty neat. Yeah, I love Channel Islands. I've bought a lot of their stuff. The guy's Dusty Walter, I think, is his name, and he's the old. He was with Audio Alchemy, I think, back in the days. If you remember that outfit, those guys are all still around in various guises as well. But yeah, he keeps coming out with products and stuff. He's got amps. He's got a whole range.
Dusty's very into speakers, and he's one of the two people involved in the LSA speakers with Wally Underwood. He's been designing their statement and other speakers that Wally is selling.
Yeah, that makes sense because who else is with Wally Underwood is Mark Shifter, which people may know about as well. He was with Audio Alchemy. He's got a little bit of a past. I'll just leave it at that.
You remember Peter Madnick? He was with Audio Alchemy too.
Yeah, he's now with ELAC, or he did.
Yeah.
He revived, because I actually have a new Audio Alchemy phono stage that I picked up a while back pretty cheaply. That it actually has 2 inputs, which is really cool for someone like me who has all these turntables. It's very helpful. And I think they got picked up by ELAC. He's also associated with a higher end company. Constellation, that's it. You got it.
He's always had his hands in lots of things. I still have an Audio Alchemy, what do they call it, the decoding engine. Remember the 20-bit one?
Yeah. They
were all the half rack units. I had a DAC and also an amplifier, and they made all sorts of widgets back then in the 90s, early mid 90s.
They were kind of like the shit audio of that era.
Yeah,
I mean, because they really tried to bring in stuff at pretty low prices, but pretty cool devices. I think it was pretty neat.
The headphone amp was really good. It was all Class A, but man, you could fry an egg on it. That's how it was real small, and there was no way really for the heat to get out of there. I ended up selling mine to a classical music engineer, and I talked to him, I don't know, last year or whatever. He says it still works. He says it still, runs as hot as fire, but he says it's amazing. It still works as it did when it was new. So, all right. Anything else anybody would like to share? Russ, any new brands you picked up, or any new things that?
I mean, other than I picked up from Gold Note. I have the DS10 Plus, their high-end DAC with the power supply. I picked up the power supply for the PH10 phono stage. I have their new power amp, and then of course, like I mentioned before, the KEF LS50 Metas, which are just unbelievable, and the wireless twos as well. Chris was over the house the other day, and I have the wireless twos hooked up with the KF92 subwoofer, and for a little under $5,000, you basically get a speaker that does streaming, has its own amplification built in, and you have a subwoofer that goes down to 11 hertz. So you basically have a full range, system, and it sounds great. And trying to think anything else.
It was frickin' fantastic. If you don't, go schedule a date with Russ. He's got it set up really perfectly, and I was blown away. I mean, the new LS50s. I know everybody goes into hyperbole about new products, but they've done some good work here.
Yeah, they've improved. Even for the wireless, the app is much better now. It works very seamlessly. It literally took me about 5 minutes to get them, set up and working. And the new stands that they have, the S2 stands, are actually kind of meant specifically for that speaker. You can actually bolt the speaker directly to the stand. It has a center channel section of the stand that you can fill with shot or sand, and they have a channel system as well. You can run the speaker wire through the stand and have it come out the bottom of the stand as well. And but yeah, they sound just pretty magical, and so I expect them to do very, very well. But yeah, that's about it. I really haven't. It's hard, without having a ton of people coming over the house. It's hard to really afford to be bringing in too much new stuff. So
hey, Russ, Russ, I heard you listened to some other speakers the other day.
Oh yes, I listened to the CB speakers in a flat white for $300 a pair. They're awesome. Talk to Chris Barker about those. Yeah, Chris brought his speakers that he made over here, and we had them hooked up to a Yamaha RX-8 2080 surround sound receiver, and they're a little bright, but the bass on them was pretty impressive for a speaker that costs $300. So, are you going to talk about your speaker kit today, or
I'll do a passing comment.
Yeah.
I mean, you can watch the video.
Let's turn it over to Chris. Yeah, turn it over to Chris and talk about some of the stuff you've been doing, Chris.
Okay, so I'm going to launch into present mode.
Yeah.
Okay, get ready. Hang on. How come this isn't coming up? Here we go. All right. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Hang on. Sorry. Try it again. User error. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so you see Bandcamp?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get back to that'll be part 2 if there's time at the end. John, give me a few minutes so I can talk about music if you want. Okay, so I'll try to run through this quickly so no one gets too bored, but hopefully I cover a few topics. So anybody that watched my latest video, it wasn't DIY. It was about this company I'm new to called VTV Amplifier, which is pretty cool. They basically are building Class D amps, and you can choose whatever Class D module you want to pick from all the best ones. You can go with Hypex Encore, the Pascal modules, which are are in the Mytech amplifier, for example, or the one I was really hot to try and get, and I now have, is the Purify. This is the Bruno Puzzi engineer, genius guy out of, he's Belgian, worked for Philips for many years, and invented the Hypex Encore modules, and is also behind Key Audio. Those really cool powered. They're not too well known over here, but they're really these really cool speakers. I see locally that the Listening Room, I think, locally has them. I'd love to hear those speakers sometime. So anyway, so I ordered up. It was only $1,000 for a stereo amp, and I just had it for a little bit. But I'm very excited about this. Some of the lowest distortion, lowest noise, rivaling the benchmark AHB2, which is still the quietest amplifier made. Basically, there's no other amplifier that measures better than the benchmark right now. But these Class D amps are coming on very strong. So yeah, so it's a pretty cool amplifier here. I'll just get an idea of. Let's see, what's the one I want here. Here it is. Yeah. So you can get with a trigger. You can decide what kind of buffer you want. You can get it without an op amp. So if you want an op amp roll, I mean, you can do the whole thing. So these prices are very reasonable. If I tried to DIY it, which I probably will build one of these when I can get a case for it, he's really not charging that much more than what it would cost me to do it myself. So it's really, I think, a pretty good deal. So talking about Purify Audio, just real quick here, bring up their page. Again, this is a company they're building amplifiers. The module that's in my amplifier is this module right here. This they call it the Eigentakt, the 1ET400A module. And it's got 425 watts into 4 ohms, ridiculously low distortion, high signal noise ratio. So, and these modules are being licensed, the NAD with their brand new, I think it's the M33 amp, maybe it's an integrated amp, I don't know. It's getting reviewed. It has these modules in it. So these things are getting OEM'd a lot, and they're probably going to start appearing in a lot of amplifiers. So, and then they have this thing called the Eval 1. This is the board I want to buy. It's about, I don't know, it's under $1,000 or $800, but it comes with its own built-in board. It's basically the same thing. It just comes with a buffer board already built. You can see that, and you just have to hook up a power supply and cables in a case, and you're good to go. Pretty much, I don't think you have to do any soldering. It's really like the same way I built my Ice Power amps a while back. So, I mean, I think this is going to take people by storm. What's also cool is they also are making a woofer that is, which is it here?
The driver is sensational, 6.5 inches.
Yeah, the 6.5, that's the 8 one. Let's see, where's the 6 one? Maybe it's this one. Here it is. This is the one. It's really weird looking. If you can see there, it looks kind of, there's a better picture of it, but it has this really weird edge on it that it looks like somebody, I don't know if you can see in the picture there where my mouse is, but it looks like somebody, fell asleep at the gluing stage or something, and it doesn't look like any woofer I've ever seen.
Looks like inside of an intestine.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a good way to describe it. So anyway, so this one, I have not heard, but the reviews I've been from people that have played with it, DIY speaker builders, so say this thing is pretty killer. And so I'm very interested, and I actually found a company here called DIYAudio. Maybe Kemper's on top of this. These guys are down in North Carolina, so I looked it up. They're 300 miles away, so they're not too far away. I talked to Gary this week. I asked him if he'd ever been in touch with these guys. I'd love to have them come up to our CAF next year. But here's a speaker. This speaker is not too bad. They're charging a $2,700 for a pair. And they actually have a kit. you can buy this in kit form for about $1,500. Of course, you got to put it together, and you got to be good at that. And doing this kind of finish would be beyond my capabilities probably. But either way, it comes with a ribbon tweeter. I would like to hear this speaker. I would very much like to hear the speaker. People that have heard this setup say it's pretty knockout. So keep an eye out on that. The Purify seems ready to rule the world in speakers and amps, it looks like.
They're really going after ultra low distortion.
That is it.
This new driver really has very low distortion.
Yeah.
You're going to see it in lots of new two-ways. I think it's really going to hit the market hard.
Yeah.
And I like to ask Chris, what buffer did you opt for? The ordinary op amp, or did you get one of the nice discrete op amps that you can roll?
Yes, I chose this time around to go with the HyPEX buffer, which is what was I saw a test on that, so I knew what the specs would be, and I decided I wanted as clean and I think some of the other buffers, I don't have firsthand knowledge, but they're more designed from a certain person's viewpoint on buffers in terms of coloration, and so for this round with this amp, I decided to go with a HyPEX standard buffer. Okay, moving on. I did do a quickie DIY video some of you may have looked at of the Ascend acoustics. This is what they look like, the Sierra speaker. This is a pretty hot little speaker. I've had this for many years, and I think I've done about 3 upgrades on it. It's one of the few speakers out there that I know of commercially where they actively allow you or encourage you to do upgrades. They provide the upgraded components, the crossover and the drivers as they make upgrades. And this guy Dave Fabricant, he's out in Colorado, I think, has been doing this for many years, and every maybe 5 years or so he comes up with a new speaker. He works very closely with C's, I guess, out of Scandinavia. It builds his drivers for him, and when he comes up with something that he really likes, he updates the speaker, and if you already are an owner, you can just upgrade the components, and it's very easy. It's really duck soup, as I showed. So it's pretty good. These go for about, I don't know, $1,600, $1,700 a pair, so they're not terribly expensive. Of course, just going back to Russ talking about the KEF wireless LS50s, these are killer speakers. If you like the LS50s, you're going to love the new version with the meta material and all that kind of stuff. Doing a 2.1 with a subwoofer, I mean, you've got a full range system. If you're just doing digital streaming at this point, this could be, as they say, an overused term, but an end game kind of setup. This is really incredible, and they come in cool colors too. I had my eye on the titanium with the red cone. I think that's kind of cool looking right there with the match.
So far, they're only available in that matte black, and some of the white one, the white granite look has come out.
Yeah, I'm pretty just about on the edge to pull the trigger with Russ on a pair of these. Was very enthused when I heard them. So So anyway, so check them out when you can, because they're very good. So anyway, moving along.
Interestingly enough, back to the LS50s.
Yes.
Notice the surround of that also isn't also normal and flat.
That's true. That's a good point. Very good point.
Allow the excursion to be more linear.
Yes. Yeah, there's no doubt KEF does their homework. I think they're one of the leaders in really, and they build their own drivers, I think.
They're one of the few tier 1 manufacturers, so they build everything in-house: drivers, crossover networks, cabinets, everything.
Yeah, and because the dirty secret, I mean, it's not a dirty secret, but I mean, a lot of speaker manufacturers buy their drivers, which is not bad. And I mean, just like the Sierra, the Ascend Sierras, I mean, they don't make the drivers, but they do work closely with the driver manufacturers and customize and all that. But Yeah, Kef is definitely onto something there. They've been doing their homework. Back to the speaker kit thing, just in case nobody's seen, this is the page. It's called Swan's Kits, and it's the DIY 3.1A kit that I $289 on Amazon there. That's what I built. It's called HiVi, which is a subsidiary of the Swan's kit. Swan makes a bunch of higher end speakers selling for many thousands of dollars. In fact, there's a model in the Swan line called the M3, which uses the exact same drivers and crossover that's in this kit, and it sells for $1,800. So, yeah, it has a much nicer cabinet and all that good stuff. But it's pretty neat. And here's the Audio Science Review. They did a really extensive. They have something called the Klippel measurement system, which is based on some guy named Wolfgang Klippel, apparently, that's pretty renowned, and it allows you to measure speakers in like a normal room with multiple data points to get a really good measurement. They were pretty impressed, again, given the low price and everything, and this is a great thread to read if you have the time. It's pretty long, because the guy that made the modification to the crossover, which is what I did, I actually bought a few extra parts and substituted them in for the crossover to kind of tame them a little bit. As Russ said, they're a little bright in the high end, and the crossover tries to deal with that a little bit. He participates, so it's really cool. It's no secret, I've been hanging out here a lot, reading a lot. I've been posting things from here. What's cool about this site is a lot of designers, like Bruno Puzzi has participated on this site. John Selah, if that's from Benchmark, has participated. All sorts of people are going, because they really are doing a service. They really are getting into no-nonsense measurement of components. The only people that get a little upset are people that have products that don't measure too well, and they kind of get a little, their feathers ruffled a little bit. But even people like Shit Audio, they've been participating, and I think it's generally a good thing, as long as people can keep their egos in check and don't get too upset. But such is life in the hi-fi world. Let's see what else. What's next here? I have another list thing here. Let's see. That's
Chris,
it.
how does that DIY speaker sound?
Well, I like them quite a bit. They have a very good, I think, mid-range, because they're a three-way speaker, so I think vocals are very good. I think that's one of their outstanding features. And the bass, there's a test track now that I like to play, because it has a defined 40 hertz bass note in it. I mentioned the last time, it's by a group called London Grammar, and it's the song Hey Now, and it's very sparse up until about a minute in, and then this really low bass note comes in, and I brought up a spectrum analyzer on my phone, and it's right at 40 hertz, so it's a really good kind of test, for your speaker, in terms of if you want to see if you really got good bass response. And it handles it very, very well. And any kind of brightness, I would say it has, you can easily, with Roon, put in a filter, a parametric EQ filter. I know EQ is the anathema of audiophiles. I know we've all been trained. I was talking to Russ about it, and probably some of you can remember the days when people used to have these like parametric EQs in their system, and they would have these settings. It looked like a wave in an ocean. It was, they just had crazy settings for, but today with something like Roon, where you can do it in 64-bit audio in the digital domain, you can affect some very good, subtle, but enhancing, adjustments, to your sound system to get, if things aren't just perfect, especially for things like room nodes. I think it's very important. But I'm kind of biased. I built the things, so I've kind of got a love affair with them, because I'm proud of having built them. But I think they're pretty darn good speakers. I think many people would be more than happy listening to them.
Yeah, especially for the money. I think you can't beat them. And there's a couple things. I think you can't. It's hard to tell in the picture, but they really aren't that big. So I mean, they really are more bookshelf sized. And the one thing Chris mentioned on the binding post, they have 2 sets of binding posts, but Chris said that actually it's not really set up for by wiring. They just for some reason they included that.
Yeah, I think it was just a cost thing. It was cheap.
Is the mid-range a dome like ATC?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a dome. Yeah, it's a ribbon tweeter and a dome mid-range. Yeah.
Doesn't have the weight of the ATCs, but
yeah, no, I'm not claiming. Yeah. I'm not making any giant killer claims. I'm not saying. I'm not saying this is just stop buying speakers and make these, but but really though, I mean, in this day and age, I mean, I would have killed when I was a kid if I could have built something like this for myself. I would have killed for something like this. It was just it's amazing. So yeah, pretty cool.
I think they imaged pretty well, and the off-axis imaging was pretty good too. I was pretty much sitting in front of the left speaker, and I still heard a nice presentation in front of me. So.
Yeah. No, I appreciate Russ giving an honest assessment. He was very fair. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's see. Of course, we got our website continues to go on, and I do post from time to time with things. And then, of course, our forum is where all the activity is happening there, and people are doing stuff. And I'm constantly posting about things I like and things. I've got links to interviews, Bruno Puzzi there, and other things. A really good review of that Purify Woofer I found is very interesting. Well worth if that's something that's interesting to you and stuff and everything. So check. Please go to our forum. I think we've got now. Let's see, how many people do we have on our forum? I think we're well into the 70s. So that's a pretty good. Yeah, we got 74 members. So that's pretty good. And a lot of people from the outside are coming and visiting too. So they're reading what we're up to and getting interested in stuff. So please keep coming to the forum. So I'm going to keep going real, try to move quickly. I don't want to monopolize, but here, I know we're already moving over time, but I just wanted to update on some things. I've been talking about this Nutube kit, preamp kit, which is from designed by Nelson Pass. This is kind of the complement to the Nelson Pass amp that I built a while back, and some of you heard at one of our meetings many moons ago. And this is now shipping. I just got word mine is in the mail. The only problem is they sent me the wrong color. They just told me, so I've got to fiddle and get the send it back and get the right color. I want black on mine. So anyway, so I hope to build that real soon, and I'll do another video on that hopefully if. As well.
Is that price right, Chris? $25?
No, that's just the PCB and the JFETs.
Okay.
The price of it is here. This is the right price. This is what I paid.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, it's $290. Yeah,
okay.
$299 for the full kit. That's everything you need. You just have to assemble it. It has the power supply and all that kind of stuff. These things go together pretty well. This should go pretty easy. I would say an afternoon probably would put this thing together pretty easily. So that's pretty cool. Moving along, I've been dealing lately with a new to me at least. I think they're relatively new. APOS is a new online dealer dealing with a lot of interesting stuff. Particularly they seem to have a good connection with some of the Chinese manufacturers like SMSL and Topping, and now they've got HiFi Man and some of the cutting edge or YouTube popular products. I just actually got. Speaking of which, here I'll go back. Well, I'll just show it on screen on the screen here because it's easier. I just got from them the new SMSL SU-9 balanced MQA DAC. This is insane. This is $439. This is the equivalent, basically the equivalent of the Topping D90 that people are very excited about. The numbers this thing is posting, it has a SYNAD. That's this measurement that combines the THD and noise of over like 122. This is actually, John, this is actually quieter than the benchmark DACs.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. That's amazing.
And this one uses the ESS DAC, the 90 ESS 90 38 Pro. That's the same one that the benchmark uses. The D90 uses the AKM DAC, so you can kind of compare the two. I actually have a D90 too that I've been using. So this is again killer. This is balanced output. It's if you're doing just digital, if you're not into doing analog at this point, this plus a really good amp like the VTV amp or something. I mean, this is done. You're done. I mean, you're not going to get a better measuring product from anyone. I don't care how much you spend. You can spend a lot more money. This thing is quite amazing, and so it's. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I would never have guessed these kind of prices for this type of product. So check it out. Here's the topping product. See, that's $6.99. They also have the A90 headphone amp, which is again another very high performing headphone amp. So you can buy the stack for under $1,000 and stuff. Keep going real quick. Almost finished here, I promise. I talked about the ATSC 3.0 a while back, which is the new broadcasting standard that is literally being implemented right now. Don't see a lot of it in the news. I guess there's other things going on in the news, but this company called Silicondust has these products called, they call the HD Home Run, and I just literally got this week my it's called the Connect 4K. So basically, I'm going to be able very soon to be able to receive 4K 7.1 Atmos audio surround sound off the air whenever local stations start broadcasting. There are about a handful of stations in the U.S. right now that are live with 4K. None in this area. I think the next possibility would be early 2021. So I'm hoping that they'll come online then, and I'll be one of the first to be able to receive those with this product. This is a 4-tuner product. It's a couple $100 or so. You stick it on your network. It's got an Ethernet connection, and you're good to go. And I'm very excited about ATSC 3.0. It's also called Next Gen TV. If you see that term, you'll see that talked about. There's a good wiki page here about ATS 3.0 and all the features and everything. I could just end here real quick on this stuff. I could play this video here.
Television broadcasters are leading the way with a new system that will merge the capabilities of over-the-air broadcasting with the internet. 2 decades ago, the Advanced Television Systems Committee celebrated the FCC's adoption of the first all-digital over-the-air TV standard. It offered pristine, high-definition video delivered in the same 6 MHz channel once needed for black and white, and then color TV. Now broadcasters are evolving to meet the needs of today's viewers and advertisers. This next-generation broadcast platform merges the best capabilities of over-the-air and broadband viewing. The result is a convergence of the most popular method of watching live events with the variety of programming available online. ATSC 3.0 is designed from the ground up to be all of those things. A next-generation transmission system that can deliver 4K Ultra HD images with high dynamic range, plus interactive features and multi-channel immersive audio. ATSC 3.0 is the world's first broadcast standard built on an Internet Protocol backbone. This offers the advantage of both broadcast and broadband. Designed to integrate with internet-delivered content,
So I'll stop there. I don't want to go too much longer. But any questions on the Anything I've talked about, or I'll turn it back over to John.
Is your display
I'm
OLED?
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, Chris, quickly, if they're sending 4K video signals and uncompressed 7.1 digital over that 4 megahertz bandwidth, they must compress the daylights out of it, mustn't they? They must have some.
You are correct. The cool thing is when the current over-the-air standard is based on MPEG-2, which is pretty old codec by this time. It's what early Blu-rays had and that kind of thing and stuff. This is using the new, it's called various things, H.265 or HEVC. This is many light years ahead in compression, so you're correct. That's why it's way more efficient than MPEG-2, so they can cram more into a given bandwidth, broadcast bandwidth, and so you're going to see channels with many more sub-channels. I don't know if anybody watches over-the-air TV anymore, but if you do, you're aware that like channel 4 actually has 3 or 4 different channels. It's not just channel 4, it's like 4.1, 4.2, and they all have different programming on them. And with this new standard, they'll be able to put even more channels and higher quality, lower bandwidth. So actually reception could be improved with this whole thing over the current standard. Other
Chris,
questions?
on the DAC that you were talking about, the $400 one, can we include that in the roundup that we're going to do in December?
We could. Here it is. Got in the box. Haven't even plugged it in here.
You have the one with the 9038 or the AKM? Or
well,
both?
this is the SMSL is the 9038. The topping is the one with the AKM.
Okay.
But they're both like.
So yeah, let's make sure we include that one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is hot. I mean, this is literally came directly from China. DHL.
Chris, that SU-9, is that for sale at any other websites currently, or is that the only seller?
I think APOS or APOS, I think they claim to be maybe the launch partner, so they may be the only ones. But yeah. Anything else?
All right. Any other thing for Chris?
Stunned into silence.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for showing up. We had a good turnout today. I think there at the peak there was 22, 23 people here, which were most of the 30 people who said that they were going to log in. I've just finished doing via the chat the music giveaways of a few of the things we were doing, mostly digital. I don't have any records to give away right now. I'm going to have to hit Russ up for some records. So I appreciate it. I just wanted to note, Ali, I think you won the Moonlighters LP. I mean the dub.
Thank you.
Did you say that's an interesting one because it's I know Bill Kirchen. If you guys know who Bill Kirchen is,
yeah.
the guitar player. Anyway, he was with Commander Cody for years and years, and then after he left Commander Cody, the Lost Planet Airmen kind of broke up. In like '76, and then they started another band, the Moonlighters, which was kind of more sophisticated Western swing, combination of country, boogie woogie kind of stuff. And he was in the band. Tony Johnson, who's written a lot of music and songs for movies, but he was a rock and roll singer back then, and he wrote a song that was included on the Rose soundtrack that Bette Midler was in. She sings it. It's called Midnight in Memphis. It's a great sounding album. It was done on Amherst Records, but it was a lot like a lot of music. It wasn't such a big seller that it actually ever got produced into CD when CDs came around. So I knew Bill because he used to get his guitar an amp serviced at Music Technology, and I chatted with him about it one time that I was always a big fan of that. And I asked him who had the master tapes, and he said that the original owner / engineer recording guy would not part with it. He was going to go to his grave with all the Amherst Records tapes that they had done. So I went out, and the LP was kind of hard to find, but I ended up buying either 8 or 10 of them used, and I put together the best sounding cuts so I could record them LP dub to digital using a benchmark ADC. And then I didn't do any dynamics processing. Most of the cuts were very clean. I just zeroed out the noise, the intro and the outro. And Russ, if you're still there, he's actually heard it.
You played it at the house.
Yeah, you played it at the house. It actually sounds really, really good, and you can't tell. I mean, it's the only clean copy of this probably anywhere other than the original multi-track masters that I don't even know if the guy's still alive. And I gave it to Bill. Bill never had a clean copy of it, and he said if I didn't tell him that it came from the LP, he said I would have sworn it was a CD. He said I didn't hear a click, a pop, or noise or anything. He says it's amazing that it sounded this good. So anyway, it was a fun project to do, but having to go out and search a whole bunch of album samples, and I actually got some old DJs who sent me, the original like DJ copies and stuff like that, and a couple of them were unopened, so I was able to make a really clean dub of it. So if anybody else wants it, I could put it up on the download as well, but I just thought it would be a fun thing to give away since he's from the DC area and great guitar player. Chris, you've seen him a few times, right?
Yeah, Bill Kirshen played at my sister-in-law's brother's wedding years ago. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a cool guy. Played with Danny Gatton and all those people.
Yeah.
I mean, he's great. If you love Telecaster music, that's the type of guitar he plays. He's great. Hot Rod Lincoln is, of course, the song that everybody knows. It's very cool.
Yeah, well, right, and he does. Well, he doesn't do the vocal though. He didn't do the original vocal on Hot Rod Lincoln, but he did the guitar. Right on the Moonlighters, they only did 2 albums. The first album, I think, is the best one. He actually does. He does most of the vocal duties. I think Tony Johnson does like 2 tracks, and then Bill does the rest of them. But I also had the honor at Music Technology that Bill actually played my Stratocaster. I had a Stratocaster that was sold by Fender that came with 2 humbuckers instead of single coils. So he was intrigued by that, and he actually played like a half-hour demo of Music Technology one day when we were down there. So that was pretty cool.
Wow, an HHS, huh?
Yeah, no, it was HH. It was just HH.
Oh, just HH, just 2 humbuckers.
It was called the double fat Strat or the Big Apple Strat. It was introduced under 2 names, and it was a hardtail, 2 Seymour Duncan humbuckers. Very rare. They didn't sell that many because everybody wants a Strat with single coils, and it was pretty cool. But he got to play it, so I got to hear him play my guitar.
Cool.
There you go.
This is my 1974 Strat. I've had it all this time.
Cool.
Was it originally all white and then it just yellowed, or was it slightly off-white?
It's yellowed. It's I don't know. I don't know what the original color. It's yellowed. And it's got you were talking about. It's got the three thing. They were saving money with the only 3 screws.
Yeah, no, I know. And now they're collector items.
Yeah, people have said this is worth a little bit.
$3,000.
I bought this with my paper route money for $300.
Yeah, well now it's worth $3,000.
Yep.
So, by the way, Adrian Anthony, you won the Ashkenazi Perlman recording. So I'll send you guys the links for those so you can download it. But I'll make the Moonlighters thing available. If you guys all want to hear it, I mean, it's you got to like that kind of boogie woogie country western swing kind of thing, but it's pretty well recorded. It sounds good. I'll upload it to one of my transfer sites, and then you guys can download it. All right. Anything else?
I real quick. I had a lot of music, but probably it's too long and people are getting bored, I guess. But if you're a prog head like I am, there's a new Rick Wakeman album out. You guys see that? It's called
I saw the announcement.
The Red Planet. That's pretty cool. And John Anderson's going strong. He's got this album actually has been out for a while, but it just came out on vinyl, or it's more easy to get now. It used to be you could only get it from his website. So he's got an album out. So if you like Yes type music, you'll love that. And of course, and I'm sure Russ has these. I know he has them. I saw them on his wall. New jazz from John Coltrane, classic Love Supreme, and the Ballads album, pressed at what's the outfit? You know, the Chad Kasem's quality
Acoustic sounds.
Acoustic sounds.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of stuff coming in from Groove Note and from Analog Productions as well. I'll try to put a list up on the forum site for you guys to see. And I am getting new vinyl in every single week. So if you're looking for anything in particular, just let me know. I pretty much have access to anything that's out there, including all of that Tone Poet Blue Note stuff that's coming out. I just got in this week the Eagles live at the Forum in 2018. I think it was like the first concert that they recorded after Glenn Frey had passed and his son kind of kicked in to help out. And got a couple of obscure stuff, a couple of Frank Zappa recordings from Poughkeepsie, New York from like 1978, Eric Clapton. Again, these are like live recordings, I think, that they initially broadcast on FM. But if you're looking for anything, even Blu-ray, DVD, I mean, I have access to all of that stuff. So if you have anything you're looking for, just let me know.
Hey, Russ, did you get the link that I sent you of that 74 Don Kirshner when they were playing live with Linda Ronstadt?
Who was playing? Who was
the Eagles?
Oh, really? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's when Bernie Leadon and Don Felder were in the band all at the same time, and they do the best version of "Already Gone" with Felder doing amazing lead guitar licks. With this was Don Kirshner '74, Felder doing working a Les Paul. You'll never hear a better performance of that song than that.
Yeah,
just incredible.
I don't think I got that yet, so feel free to send it to me.
Yeah, I sent you a link on your text. Check out your text. But anybody else, just Google it, because Don Henley hasn't killed that video being uploaded to YouTube yet. It's still there. And also Linda Ronstadt does Take It Easy, performs with him. And also on that same show, the Eagles are backing Jackson Brown on Bright Baby Blues. So incredible performance. And considering that, somebody recorded that on their VCR, it's amazing how good the sound is. All righty, folks.
All right, John, that's on YouTube, what you're describing?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I find all kinds of these obscure concerts. I found the Chicago Transit Authority concert from '69 in Tokyo, just amazing sound quality, just, in stereo up on MP3. I think somebody from NHK in Japan had actually uploaded it. And it's just amazing the number of great concerts. A lot of times I download them, or if that's not enough, sometimes I just record the audio just to have it because it's a rare performance or whatever. But yeah, the Eagles that was Don Kirshner's. I saw that original, I was 15 years old in '74. I remember watching that, and because Don Kirshner's, everybody, unlike Midnight Special, there was some, voiced over to tape performances, but the Don Kirshner stuff was always 100% live.
Can you post that link for us? Or
I'll get you the link to it. Yeah, hopefully Don Henley hasn't taken it down since I texted Russ with the link. But
he's the worst.
What's that?
I said Henley is the worst. He goes after everybody. He's awful.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And then I also found so there's also stuff from the Eagles from like '73 that's up there as well. So it's amazing the stuff that you find up there from vintage country and bluegrass and just all kinds of stuff that that had been on film or TV or that sort of thing. It ends up on YouTube with even at MP3, the quality is decent enough that I recently downloaded if anybody remembers the Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia had many side projects. He had one called the Jerry Garcia Band, which was really good. Some of it, he did a lot of Bob Dylan and stuff like that. He does one of the best versions of Positively 4th Street that you'll ever hear. And there's a really nice live cut from '75 that I found on that. So, all right, enough of that kind of stuff. So we'll catch up with you guys next time. We'll be scheduling up these events that we talked about. We're going to go ahead and do the Quincy's thing. So anybody who wants to dare come out with their mask and have a beer with a few of us. There's always a few of us that show up. Come on over. It's a cool place. Monday night is half price burger night, so that's why we usually pick that one.
Good. Have a good weekend, guys.
All right. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.